Community, whether it's your chosen family or the family that was assigned to you at birth. I think it's incredible to have that community backing whatever your ventures, whatever your passions might be, that when we can really celebrate who we are without feeling like we need to become someone else, that's when we're able to really show up and feel the most joy and the most alive. The body image issues out there are not going to be resolved by changing what people look like. It needs to be a deeper conversation about relationship with self and destigmatizing health being a certain shape and size and look. I am still enough. I am valuable as a human being. I matter. And I don't need to do anything else to be enough. I just am enough because I'm here.
Hi, Abby. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me today at We Are Mentally United podcast. Your journey itself and the work you're doing with Clarity Fitness is highly inspiring, and I'm so excited to cover it today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to hang out.
Definitely. So, to get things started, can you share a little bit about your work, your profession, upbringing for viewers or listeners who might not be familiar with it?
For sure. So I'm Abbey Griffith. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the owner and founder of Clarity Fitness. We're Georgia's first eating disorder informed fitness studio and work a lot in the fat liberation space as allies to the incredible people that have been doing this work since long before I even existed. And it's been really fun to just make fitness a more positive, more accessible, more empowering space, less about weight loss and less about how you look and more about what feels good for you on any given day. So again, with people that are struggling with eating disorders, we can really get granular and support on treatment teams and in treatment centers. And for people who might not identify with that journey, we're just a safe and positive online and in-person space that can make fitness a little less stigmatized and a little less scary for people who might be looking for that.
That's wonderful. Was this something that you always wanted to do?
A little bit. It was so I knew I wanted to do business something. So I went to school for industrial engineering with a business management concentration. And with that business something, I was like waiting for an idea to pop out of the world, I guess. And I unfortunately was diagnosed with eating disorders in my college years. I believe it was sophomore year that I officially got the diagnosis. And at the time, I was really big into fitness and I was going toward being a personal trainer at the school gym at University of Miami, where I went to school. And I just realized in treatment that fitness, you're basically told to at least slow down, if not fully stop fitness. And now I know that that's because of how much toxic messaging and how many conscious and unconscious beliefs around body shape and size and stigma about weight loss or not losing weight there are in that industry. But at the time, I was so upset because I loved movement and I loved fitness so much. And I didn't really understand why I had to stop. So I got this idea of like really figuring out what it is about the fitness industry that is problematic, because it's not just people in recovery that it's hurting if it's problematic, and creating a space where it really is geared toward empowerment and fun and positivity. So believe it or not, it was kind of like a mental download that I got that idea. And I still remember the day it just like hit me like, this feels like my purpose. Like, this is what I'm here to do. And I'm so grateful to be able to say that, because I know that that is few and far between, but it really felt like a calling and got the pieces parts in place. And I'm oversimplifying the journey a ton, but here we are.
That's great. No, a lot of us go through a lot of struggles, a lot of mental wellness challenges, and transforming it or alchemizing it for the betterment of tomorrow or for the betterment of other people is it's really empowering and it's really inspiring. Um, was it difficult for you to get things started on?
For sure. It was I was in a really, really great place in my major in that it was senior year by the time I decided that this is what I was going to do. And in my major, it was the senior project was to look at a business and figure out what you could do to improve their systems, processes, costs analysis, just different things that you could play with to save them time and money, essentially. And so we looked at the University of Miami Fitness Center and looked through their processes, looked through even time studies on where they have their equipment and what times people are spending on what equipment, what might be a better investment, where they could move things to optimize their space better, all the way to the class schedule, all the way to vendors that they're contracting with. And then we took what was working from their business plan, with their permission, of course, and put it into my business plan, and then reconfigured some things to really bring in that mental health component and added that to my business plan. So we did a dual presentation on how to support the University of Miami Fit Rec Center and how to create my studio. So we got the business admin team from University of Miami and the professors in the business school and the rec center and our industrial engineering team all looking over my business plan. And I was like, this is the best. So it really took my major and made use of it. So I'm excited for that. And then just putting the building blocks in place of getting funding and finding support from family and the team and the location. All of those things were the next chapter for sure. But that was a fun kickstart and really got me feeling like it was the right thing to do with the right support behind it.
Well, that's really powerful because a lot of time when folks struggle with their mental health or go through their own struggles, they feel like a lot of doors are closing up upon them. But you definitely recognize the door that you could open up and not just empower yourself, but also in the process empower the community.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a good ride.
You mentioned a little bit about taking and working with different collaborations, working with different organizations, family being a very helpful and empowering support for you during that time as well. How important do you feel like is community or is family support in situations like these?
Super important. I think community, whether it's your chosen family or the family that was assigned to you at birth, I think it's incredible to have that community backing whatever your ventures, whatever your passions might be. And I do think that that looks different for everyone. I think that I'm really blessed and grateful to have a more quote unquote typical family system of mom and dad having my back, and I really love them and appreciate them for that. And I think that that is not the only way that success can happen and that dreams can be recognized. I know a ton of people that have incredibly close friends and incredibly close business mentors or community organizations that really fuel their fire to do what they need to do and to follow their dreams. So there's lots of different ways that community can look, but very important.
For sure. And like I work a lot with the younger folks, the younger audience, kids aged from I would say 3 to 15.
Mhm.
And a lot of them struggle with a lot of body image issues, how they want to look a particular way on what they see on either the TV screens or their mobile screens and stuff. How was that
Mhm.
journey for you like if you can talk a little bit about that?
For sure. So I think that was a big part of what kickstarted things for me in the beginning in terms of the disordered eating behaviors. There's a big misconception that eating disorders are like all body image, and that I definitely feel I've learned to see other factors like perfectionism and just my ability to please people and my desire to please people and the people pleasing tendencies that I continue to work through. But I think that body image was probably the first start to that, of just seeing an opportunity to quote unquote control something, or what I thought was controlling it, and it ended up being really dangerous and something that I really wish someone had given me more insight about earlier on in my life. But I think that with body image. We're just unfortunately in this fishbowl of people looking the same and having the same ability and the same skin color and the same education. And it really is what you see all day, every day on social media and TV and pop culture. And it's so unfortunate because we miss so many other things that people bring to the table by being themselves and following what they were on the earth to bring to the earth. And I think that when we can really celebrate who we are without feeling like we need to become someone else, that's when we're able to really show up and feel the most joy and the most alive. And I think that comes after many, many years of therapy and resources. I don't think that's a light switch that you can flip, but I do think that the body image issues out there are not going to be resolved by changing what people look like. It needs to be a deeper conversation about relationship with self and destigmatizing health being a certain shape and size and look, because we really can't get the research and the help that people need to recognize that they are enough as they are without starting those conversations. So I'm excited to be here today to hopefully have that and to point people toward more resources again that have been doing this work since before I was even born. So it's a really cool community and paradigm shift when you can open your mind to it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we already are talking and have covered up a lot of really important things that people go through, a lot of stigmas that people go through, a lot of vision struggles that people go through. You touched something upon being there for yourself or identifying with yourself. How important would you say that is for an individual?
Really important. I think for me, I didn't really know who I was until I went into therapy and really addressed my eating disorders. And I think I'm still learning. I mean, I had an incredible therapy session this morning and I'm still processing that.
Yes.
So yay. So I think it's ongoing. I think just the last 5 years of growing my business, I've learned about myself and about my values and about the community that I have around me, which is really fulfilling and exciting. So I think knowing yourself changes because you're seeing yourself in different lenses as different chapters of your life happen and different challenges pop up and different relationships pop up and there's always more to learn. But when you're trying to be someone else or you're trying to shift what you're doing to take care or protect or prevent someone else from having certain feelings, I think that you're just not able to live the life that you could live being true to you and exploring and still being open-minded, not being closed to other perspectives or other opportunities. But that really does make a difference and makes life more worth living.
For sure. I feel like life is like a journey, as you said it yourself, because a lot of times when I work with these kids, a lot of them tell me stories that their friend said something mean to them, or their parents said that they're overweight or they're underweight, or just don't look like, that perfect shape that the media desires. And they feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's the end of their world in that moment. And they're just 13 and 14, and I have to really work with them, make them understand that life is long, life is a journey. You go through these communications, you go through these talks, but then you come out and you identify with yourself and you come out even stronger.
Absolutely. I think that's there's not every conversation feels like it added fuel to the fire immediately in that conversation, but I think that even the ones that it feels like something's being challenged or taken away, it's an opportunity, like you said, to challenge any kind of belief systems that come up, to reflect, and that just allows you to get to know yourself even better.
Yeah, yeah. And what were some of the biggest challenges you faced during your battle with eating disorders, and how did you overcome them?
For me, I struggled with anorexia largely and had some bulimic tendencies as well. And I guess my eyes were opened to how tough of a spot I was in when I was in treatment, because I think I felt that if I went to treatment, I could just like, again, flip a switch and I would be fine. And all of the truly understanding what I was going through, what the symptoms looked like, what the dangers were, how significant of an issue this actually was, and um, everything from outward behaviors to inward beliefs to just how I was living my life had to shift in some capacity. And I think that that was a really tough period because it just felt very unsettling and very scary and unknown. And who am I going to be? Because I thought I knew who I was, but now all of these things are shifting, and what's on the other side. So I think I had a really great team that I love to this day that I could really lean on. But I think that in going through those types of chapters, it opens your eyes to the importance of having that community, having that people you can lean on, and really did shift my perspective on gratitude for a paradigm shift that I'm hoping to bring to the world for other people now too.
I'm glad you really had that perspective and had that support, because that support, a lot of folks don't really have that, and they really have to find it and figure it out by themselves. So you
Mhm.
having that, you used it really well in terms of creating up Georgia's first body positive fitness center. Can you talk a little bit about Clarity Fitness itself and the projects that you folks are working on, or things that you do on everyday basis over there?
Yeah, so we have in our brick and mortar in Atlanta, Georgia, we have a gym space where people can do all things. There's tons of cardio equipment, there's squat racks, there's group exercise facilities, personal training, turf area. There's a gorgeous downtown Decatur area square right outside our windows. So a really great just fitness center here. And then virtually, we do virtual personal training for people who are just looking for an informed and safe approach to fitness. A lot of people that we work with either are in eating disorder recovery or are really nervous to go to a gym or are looking for just an understanding of mental health in their fitness approach, whether that's trauma informed or some kind of chronic illness, and really wanting a trainer that will hear them out instead of steamroll them into doing whatever the trainer decides they should do for that day. So we're very anti steamroll. And then we also have Clarity Online, which is a collection of 30 on-demand workout videos that you currently get for life with just one down payment of $99. And that is access to a ton of different fitness resources that you can look through as many times as you want, use as many times as you want. And the at-home workout classes are really great for people that are learning to advocate for themselves in a fitness center as well, because you don't have to have that conversation with the trainer of, hey, I don't feel like doing this today, or hey, I'm tired. You can just be watching the screen. And if you start a class and you're like, this isn't it, you can turn it off and walk away, or you can do different movements for everything and just use that class as an opportunity for some company from the instructor. And it's pre-recorded. They don't know any different. And so it really is like getting comfortable with choosing a fitness routine, choosing fitness approach that feels good for you on any given day, which is what we preach and what we're all about.
That's very nice. That's wonderful. Sounds more like it's personalized to individuals rather than boxing people up into a same area kind of a thing.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. A very case by case kind of approach.
And how's the feedback that you get from your clients or folks that you work with?
It's been great. It's been, I think the pleasant surprise of it all is how many people we've supported that are outside of the eating disorder space. I think initially opening Clarity, I really wanted it to be an eating disorder support mecca of in the fitness world, and it still definitely is. And we are the only gym that I know of that's specifically trained to be eating disorder informed across the board. We're doing continued education units every 6 months. We're working with the biggest treatment centers out there and providing fitness services for them. So I love that piece. And that's definitely what sets my heart on fire in the best way. And also I've met all these other amazing people that are just so in love with our mission, with the approach that we're taking. And they're like, I don't have an eating disorder. I've never been diagnosed with one. I don't even know what they are, but I just feel safe. I feel empowered when I'm here. I feel supported by the team. I feel like I'm in a community that I haven't had. So we really love that, and we're small enough that we can really get to know everyone. And I think that is really fulfilling and something that I hope we don't lose as we grow. And I think we will do everything in our power not to. We do like member appreciation dinners and virtual and in-person
Wow.
events. So yeah, we really love that.
That's beautiful because I feel like a lot of people who struggle with these struggles, they usually feel very isolated. So providing them with a sense of community, providing them with a sense of belonging, providing them with more people who are on that same journey that they can talk to, that they can relate to, it's really powerful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been very fun. We've got some cool people.
I love that. I read about it. I read about Clarity Fitness that it promotes scale-free, diet-free, BMI-free, and self-compassionate approaches towards fitness. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. So, without getting on a total soapbox, we're really big on stepping away from weight loss, appearance, body changes, period. I always hesitate when I like dive into said soapbox because I really want to make sure that people feel supported and loved and appreciated no matter what their fitness goals are. If you're like, okay, cool, Abby, but I'm still on this weight loss goal. It is what it is. We can still have said weight loss goal if that is near and dear to your heart. And also, I hope that in kind of challenging the paradigm that weight loss is the only metric to health that matters, which is not true in my opinion. And statistically, we can we can start to open our eyes to other things that matter too, things like sleep, things like stress levels, things like even just advocating for yourself in a workout. You can stop a workout if it hurts. You can pick a different movement. And as silly as that sounds, and as obvious as it sounds that that's available to you, there are gyms that are like, if you don't do this workout on this board, you can't be here today. Or there are gyms that are going to encourage you to push through the pain and give that
Mhm.
110% every session. And not only is that physically dangerous to you, but it really sets the mental headspace to just ignore your body at all costs and complete this objective no matter what your physical, mental, emotional states are saying. And I think that, as again, as soapboxy as this sounds, it's really important to open our eyes to how dangerous that can be, how triggering that can be to someone who has an eating disorder, and how much that could be fuel to the fire of someone that is struggling and doesn't realize that they are yet. So I with the BMI, the no BMI approach, with the no scales, with the no diets, we still want to be a safe space. We don't want to feel like it's our headspace or your headspace. And if you don't believe what we believe, you're not welcome here. But we do hope that you can open your perspective to challenging that paradigm a little bit and potentially getting some relief from the another side of the coin. And then for the people that are hardcore eating disorder informed, fat positive, weight inclusive, body neutral, we're your people. We've got incredible therapists that are on our team that do fitness as their passion. So we don't touch mental health in terms of actual therapy at Clarity, but we have licensed providers that love yoga and teach it as their quote unquote fun job. Not that therapy isn't also fun, but their play job on the side. And I think that has just been so awesome to create a space where we can be open and create space for people who are still exploring this, and it might resonate, it might not, and also still be a safe space for people who are deep in that work and really value that mission and those values as a place that they feel safe and comfortable in their fitness journey. So I hope that answers the question.
No, it definitely does. And I was just gonna say, I feel like all of us are built in a unique way. All of us have a separate journey that we have been on. All of us carry different weights on our backs and stuff. And one thing that I also usually object with the gym exercises or with the work that folks do at the gym is putting everyone in that same area or that same box or that same classroom, and you all
Mhm.
have to do the same thing
Mhm.
without taking in consideration that someone might have had a very long day, someone might have had a fight with their parent or their partner, or might have lost a loved one or something. So mentally, you may not be there, and really pushing them through it causes, I feel like, more damage um, than benefit.
For sure. I totally agree. And I'm so happy you brought that up too, because I think that people discredit the mental experience in the gym. And I think it's more appreciated and more understood that like if you have an injury, you make changes in your movement, but people don't think about their brain as a muscle as well, and thinking about if that is taking a beating today or this week or this month or this year, that you can make shifts to make your workout support that too. And that's definitely when we can turn to things like gentle movements, whether it's modifications or different options in a class, to just entirely taking time off and playing with breath work and stability and walking and being outdoors and finding new workout friends. I think that there's just so many resources out there that really can connect with what you need on that given day, including rest, if that is what you need for the day or the week or the month or the year. And I think that is just so important to have that conversation too. It's not common sense enough, because fitness industry people don't talk about it enough, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. And I'm glad that Clarity is doing that and you folks are doing that. Do you folks have like different schedules? Like every day there is a different class going on, or how does it look like? How does an everyday session look like?
The brick and mortar, we kind of compare it to like a boutique size LA Fit or Lifetime Fitness. So it's very high end, but the classes are sprinkled throughout the day, and personal training is on a case by case basis with the client. And then the gym is open regular gym hours, and online is the same. So personal training can happen whenever the client needs it. And then that Clarity online portion is totally on demand. So don't even need to correspond with a trainer for that, which is pretty cool.
Very nice. Can you talk a little bit more about Clarity Online and what different programs do you have over there with the subscription that you provide?
Yeah, so it is a really cool platform. I'm obsessed with it. We're growing it out as we speak. Right now, it's 30 on-demand workout videos. So we brought on physical therapists. There's a movement session about movements from a physical therapist that are best for shoulder pain prevention and back pain prevention and specific sports. And we have short videos, like we have some as short as like 5 minutes and all the way up to an hour. We have TRX, we have all of these movements you can do from home, with minimal to no equipment, and it tells you what you'll need in the beginning of the session. And again, just one time $99, you get access to all of those videos for life. We are looking to expand that platform with more videos and more options for people. And we may look to do a subscription in the future to continue to bring out new content. But the cool part about right now is it's not another monthly bill. It's just a one-time thing, and you get that access forever. And we also have different workout programs through that platform. So if you're liking the videos and you're wanting more of a structured program to go to the gym, we have 3 different options for that. And you can also sign up for virtual personal training on that platform if you're wanting that one-on-one support with a trainer, even if you have up to a group of 4 people. So maybe a parent or a spouse or a partner or a sibling. You can really leverage virtual personal training from anywhere in the world. And it's been fun to train families who might have moved to different parts of the country on Zoom and connect with them over over whatever their day holds and do a fun session together. People don't have to be at the same fitness level. That's another misconception of group training is, oh, well, I would love to train with my partner, but they lift way heavier than me, or I like this and they like that. And the trainer's job is to find sessions that really speak to both of y'all. So it's not competitive, it's really collaborative and really two independent tracks and two independent workouts that can happen harmoniously. So it's really been fun to build out that platform, and it allows us to connect with a lot more people, especially those who might be struggling with eating disorders, disordered eating, body image. We can have the trainer work with therapists through a release of information and collaborate as a team so that everyone's in the same boat of what's going on. We can work with dietitians, physical therapists, doctors. It's been really cool to build out that side of the virtual platform.
Wow, I love that. And I'll definitely leave up a link for all of these things in the description of the video so that folks can look into it and definitely subscribe. You've spoken a little bit about joyful movement and gentle movement. How do you encourage your clients to explore what feels good for their bodies, and how is that managed?
So everything down to the names of our classes is a subliminal mental check-in on what you want to do for that day movement wise. So the three tracks of our classes are rejuvenate, which are great classes for filling your cup and restoring your energy. And if your battery's low and you don't have much to give, or if you really just aren't feeling like the physical push today, there are ways to challenge yourself in these classes. So I don't mean that they're easier, that you won't still feel movement, but there's the in the zone classes, which would be on the other end of the spectrum, that are really about that physical output. So if you're wanting that more challenging, higher intensity class, that's where you would go to the in the zone classes. And then in the middle, in the sweet spot, is Have a Blast, which are dance-based classes. And every single class, we're always encouraging people to do what feels good for them. We want them to take different options. If you're a beginner fitness person and you're going to an in the zone class, you're still going to feel supported and you're still going to have tons of options. And the class is still absolutely for you. It's just the check-in on what you want out of your workout before you go. And then we make sure that we curate it for everybody that's in the room. So it's a fun way to tap into what you're feeling on that day. And I think that's the most apparent way that we help people check in on joyful movement.
Very nice. Now, one thing that I personally do for my mental health is listen to particular music, listen to different kinds of music, because music is something that really makes me connect with with my body and really makes me connect with my emotions and myself. You mentioned a little bit about dance classes. Do you also incorporate music into that?
Definitely. So those are they're really fun. All of our songs are very empowerment focused, very big energy. It just feels like a dance party every time. And our dance instructors are the biggest, brightest energy people I've ever met. So it's so fun. And that those are right now only in person, which is a slight bummer, but we can offer them in groups virtually if people want them. And if y'all are ever in Atlanta, come hang out with us.
Definitely. Which part of Atlanta are you folks based in?
We're in Decatur, so it's technically east of Atlanta, but it's still in that central Atlanta circle area. So it's probably 15 minutes outside of Midtown Atlanta to the east. So very easy drive.
Very nice. And I hope you folks get more established up in different states as well for more opportunities.
For sure. That's the vision.
I love that.
Yeah.
In terms of like struggles while building up Clarity Fitness, what were some things that you can uh, think about at the top of your mind? Struggles you went as an entrepreneur, and then how did you overcome those struggles?
The first thing that comes to mind is COVID. Unfortunately, we opened about 10 weeks before COVID, so that was a
Um,
big plot twist. But I was fortunate enough to find different networking groups and community groups in the Decatur area. So I'm in a few different business networking chapters, and I've also recently found an organization called Entrepreneurs Organization, and that has been incredibly helpful to really dig into what my business needed. And in between starting and reaching the EO levels, I was able to find specific coaches and mentors around the fitness industry that were able to pour into my specific approach and my specific industry. I think that it can be tricky, at least my experience when I was getting started. I had a mentor that was in the legal space and they were incredible. And I'm so happy that I worked with them. And also, there's just lived experience and knowledge of owning a studio that they didn't have. And they didn't know what a fair gym price was. And they didn't know how to schedule classes or how to optimize your staffing. And so these were all things that I needed to really tap into industry professionals for. And I would also say the other thing that I'm learning pretty much now after 5 years of doing this is I really parallel it to my eating disorder recovery, because I just remember in recovery really wanting my therapist to just give me a blueprint of what I needed to do, what books I needed to read, what food I needed to eat, what workouts to do, how to think. Just lay it out for me and I will do it exactly as you say to get from point A to point Z. And my therapist said a billion times that that's not how that works, but I did not listen. And I was like, no, really, just tell me. And so eventually I learned that that's not how that works and had to go through the steps of just showing up and doing our best and trying, and eventually really made a big headspace shift. But now, funnily enough, in the business side, I really want to get from point A to point Z. And I want someone to just lay out the steps of what books to read and what to do and which business networking groups to be a part of and how much money to spend on this and do that. And that also isn't how that works. It's just a lot
mhm.
of lived experience and showing up and commitment to making the changes that you want to make that happen in messy ways sometimes and not in a linear fashion a lot of the time. So it's just been really interesting to see the mental shifts carry over to the business shifts. And I think that I'm getting comfortable with realizing that there is no magical key and there is no secret answer that people aren't telling me about how to transform the business and make the impact that I want to have. And it comes with showing up and dedication and consistency and building relationships. And those are the things that I really love doing and really care about doing. So it's just a matter of time, and might look different than what I thought it would look like, and that's cool too. So it's been really a full circle moment.
Love that. Now, I feel like one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs is they may have, a lot of people may have a lot of great ideas, but what makes an entrepreneur successful is connecting and bringing people under the same roof, or gathering them under the same vision. You spoke a lot about folks from the law industry and different networking groups that you are part of. How important do you feel like is networking or putting yourself out there for an entrepreneur?
Super important. I think just like anything, it's not the one answer to all of your problems, but I do think that the more you're out there and the more people you meet and the more friends you make, the wider your connection pool is going to be. And if you're clear on what it is that you're trying to do and who it is that you want to connect with, the more FaceTime you get with the more different groups and different individuals, the better your chances are, just statistically and objectively. So, and then along the way, I'm a very, like, again, A to Z kind of person, and on the way you're making incredible friends and having a great time. So those are all the letters between B and Y you forget about that matter the most. And when I'm looking back on it, I met some of my best friends today from different networking groups and different things that I've been a part of that were originally to develop clarity and then turned out to really fill my soul too. So I love networking. And also I think especially in the gym space, there's a lot of other things that need to be tapped into too. I think I spent a lot of time networking and could have been doing more sales and outreach and event coordinating, and there's room for those too. But networking in your community and your social circle is a huge part of it.
And like being an entrepreneur, I feel like also brings a lot to your table, makes you a lot busy in your own life and stuff. How do you manage your daily life struggles, and how do you manage your daily day-to-day routine tasks?
I'm still learning that too. I think I am working on time blocking and figuring out like what I need for different parts of my day. Like I knew that I had my therapy session earlier today, so I try to carve out time on either end of that to know that if it gets really deep and I need to process some extra stuff, I have time and capacity for that and don't have to just haul into my next appointment. Candidly, today I messed that up and I did have to just roll into my next appointment. And that's so it's real life. It's not, I don't have the perfect commitment to my time blocking that I wish I did. And also sometimes no matter how dedicated you are to your boundaries and your schedule, life just happens. So I think that I hear people talk about like, if you just do this with your schedule, the success is on the other side. And it's like, well, but again, life happens. So I think that that's part of it, being able to be flexible and comfortable with these changes. And I'm working on slowing down my days. Like just because there's white space on the calendar doesn't mean that I need to fill it. And I'm probably going to fill it with a to-do list item or checking email or connecting with members anyway. So just
That's
because
me too, by the way.
exactly, I'm like, just because it's white space doesn't mean it's unproductive.
No, definitely. And like you are doing so much to help other people. What do you do for your own mental health aside from going to therapy and aside from like, finding space for your own routine? What else do you do for your mental wellness and just to keep yourself focused and ready?
Those are the big things, honestly, therapy and my own health routines. I also found this app. I don't, do you mind if I share the name of it?
Of course,
Okay.
yeah.
It's called Dailyo and it's really cute. It's like a feelings check-in app and it's just so simple, but it allows you to kind of tap into I'm feeling good, I'm feeling blah, and why, and look at any health behaviors, self-care behaviors that you've done that day. And I just recently found that about 2 months ago, and that's been really helpful to just check in a little bit more. So that would probably be the other big pillar that I'm working on right now.
I love that because I feel like being in touch with ourselves and identifying our triggers is really important to overcoming them and finding possible solutions for them.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
In the world of today, what do you feel like are some misconceptions around, let's say, or stereotypes about fitness and body image that you are already challenging or that you aim to challenge?
Yeah, I feel like BMI being the end all be all, weight loss being the end all be all are two big ones that I just hear constantly. I definitely challenge those because we have lots of YouTube videos on those. So I would just say why BMI doesn't make sense on Google and you can enlighten yourself. I feel bad getting on another soapbox, but I think that's the big one for that. And weight loss in terms of being the only health metric that matters. I know that we talked about that earlier today, but there's just when you only look at the number on the scale, you're missing so much else that really, really does show you as a whole person, and you do not know someone's health standing based on how they look on the outside. You don't know their health based on the number on the scale. So that's been really helpful to rewire in my brain, and shows up unfortunately a lot in the fitness space from just how fitness instructors address people in bigger bodies, to assuming that they have weight loss goals, to making weigh-ins be part of their initial sessions in personal training, to shame them for their bodies so that they can sell more personal training. And it's a big messed up thing in that space, but I hope that people can start to challenge that, and I'm happy to speak more to that if people have questions about it or want me to clarify anything.
Definitely. I'll leave down your email address and your website in the links as well. But what you said about being or treating ourselves as a whole person, I feel like that's very important because a lot of times I have younger boys or younger girls who come up to me and they tell me that, oh, they call me Mr. Z, that, oh,
No.
Mr. Z, I've been going to gym, I've been doing this, X, Y, and Z, but I missed out 2 days of gym and I feel so guilty. I feel so ashamed to go back because my instructor is going to be tough on me. And I feel like that really adds up to more anxiety, more depression, more self-doubt around yourself too.
I mean, on the scientific level, I'm a certified personal trainer, and you can not lose your fitness gains in 2 days of rest. If anything, 2 days of rest a week is recommended by the National Association for Sports Medicine. So it's really important that we destigmatize rest days. Rest is really important to help your muscles recover. If you have a strength or a fitness or even a sustainable health fitness goal, you're going to need to rest and let your muscles recover so that they can be stronger and more effective at whatever you're doing. So I think for me, one of the initial parts of releasing the guilt was understanding alternative science, to, or even just the science that's been presented in the first place. I think people hear working out is better, more working out is always better, and there's no study that says that. There are tons of studies that say 180 minutes a week. There are tons of studies that say movement decreases health or concerns for different mortality and morbidity issues, but we hear one thing and we spin it to 10 times what the actual data is showing us. And I think that's really a big issue in the fitness space, because we're taking a figment of truth and blowing it into something we really feel guilty about and spin out about, and we don't need to do that.
100%. I feel like recovery is as important as a workout or as important as an exercise. Recovery is super important, which is why a lot of athletes, a lot of professional athletes at their highest level spend a lot of money on just finding up the perfect recovery program for themselves as
Mhm.
well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And like, what advice would you give to someone who's embarking on their journey towards body acceptance and self-love?
I would say that, similarly to my example of starting my business, there's no start at point A, get to point Z, and you may feel that you're not moving forward, but you just showing up and you caring about asking yourself the hard questions and checking in and being kind to yourself, even if it's in a little way, like taking a rest before your next meeting or giving yourself permission to take a nap before doing your homework. There's just so much that these little steps build up to become. And I think you may feel like things haven't changed, but if you really tap into why you're doing it and continue to show up, before you know it, you're going to have a totally different headspace, and it's going to really pay dividends to your mental health and your physical health and your ability to create and sustain meaningful relationships.
Wonderful. Like you couldn't have said it better. So that's so wonderfully said. And also on that same line, for listeners who may know someone who's struggling with eating disorders or body image, like parents who might see their kids going through it, or people who may see their partners going through it, how would you encourage them to support their partners or to support their kids?
There are so many incredible organizations out there. The National Alliance for Eating Disorders Awareness is making incredible leaps and bounds right now. And there's also, so there's NEDA, which is National Eating Disorders Association, and the Alliance is separate, and both of them are incredible and really well known. There are also a ton of school programs. There's things like Be Real. Dove has an incredible program that are making really incredible impacts on school systems around body image and eating disorder prevention. So asking if the school is willing to look into any of those and find a speaker who can present to the staff, present to the students, present to the parents. And there's tons of ways to ask for help, ask for resources, and tons of ways to catch these things before they become a bigger issue. And the really awesome thing about, I need to say this carefully, but one of the less bad things about eating disorders is that they are curable. They're treatable. There's tons of hope. There's tons of help. There's tons of resources, free resources. Things like Very Health is a free resource in a community group, and they're a full-blown treatment center, but they have that free side and lots of different groups and providers that are connected to it. So again, there's a lot online, a lot of resources that can make a difference.
Yeah. And I would also add to that that I usually tell parents whose kids are struggling with it is not to name call them or not to be judgmental towards them, because that also affects a lot around your self-esteem and could damage it.
Absolutely. I think that's huge. And again, just awareness and curiosity and support over trying to diagnose when it's not our place to diagnose, or shaming someone. Or I think in mental health, a lot of times people who aren't mental health informed can get frustrated by people showing certain behaviors. Like if they have an eating disorder, it's tempting to just be like, just eat. And that's their own frustration and their own fear being projected on this person who can't just eat, because there's something way bigger than that going on. And I think, to your point, oversimplifying, name calling, picking on it isn't going to help, but resources and support and unconditional love definitely can.
100%. Are there any books that you can recommend to people who might be going through it, or parents who could read it for their children?
So I think in the eating disorder space, it's tricky because there's like different phases to it. Health at Every Size was really monumental for me. That's a really educational book. A lot of studies, a lot of data. I don't want to call it a dry read, but it's not the most not dry read. So, but if you're a data person, that's a really great book to challenge the paradigm that weight loss is going to help solve all of your problems. There's an intuitive eating workbook that's pretty well known in the eating disorder space that has a lot of the foundational practices for intuitive eating, which is a big eating disorder recovery, nutrition, refeeding practice that's widely accepted. I would steer clear of most fitness books, if not all fitness books. It's just really tough to find something that is eating disorder informed out there. Hopefully one day Clarity can offer that. And then there are a lot of workbooks. I can send the link to our Amazon storefront that has really cool books about things like body neutrality. There's a really incredible book called The Body Is Not an Apology that really challenges the paradigm of you worrying about what other people think of your body and trying to shape it into something that's socially and societally acceptable, air quotes. And that's a really incredible read as well. But I can definitely send links with more.
Yes, please do so. And again, as all the links that I would be adding up in the description of this video, I'd also add that Amazon link as well. And I hope one day Clarity comes up and writes up a book that answers and that solves a lot of struggles or a lot of stigmas that we have in our community and society.
Thank you.
Um, to to wrap things up, what are some of the hopes and aspirations for the future of Clarity Fitness and the work that you folks are doing?
Yeah, we are hoping to have a clarity in all of the 50 states. That would be incredible, if not the world, hopefully one
Okay.
day. I know. So that would be awesome. Right now, the immediate goal is developing our online presence and building out 4 more locations in Atlanta. And then we're going to look at franchising options as we continue to grow. So some big, exciting stuff.
Love that. Please come to Colorado.
Okay, deal, on my way.
Yes. And what lights you up personally? What brings you joy and makes you feel the most alive while you're doing all these hard work and you're working with people who are struggling so much? What's something that lights you up?
Probably my fur babies. I have a dog named Lola
Uh,
and a cat named Gizmo, and I love them so much.
uh, and like, what's a message or advice you'd give to anyone who might be watching this video or listening to it, who's struggling with body image concerns, eating disorders, or anything related to that?
Our slogan at Clarity is "You are enough," and that was the light bulb moment that got me through eating disorder recovery. So I would say to all of them that they are enough, and if they are hearing that and they already get it and they are already locked in, awesome. And if they're hearing that and they rolled their eyes, they can really start to challenge any belief systems that they have about I think some people hear that and they're like, yeah, whatever. But if you really think about what it is, that insecurity that you might have, like, for example, for me, mine was my body shape and size, and I wanted to lose weight. And when I heard you are enough, it was this light bulb moment that, like, today, no matter what my body looks like, if I didn't lose another pound, change a thing about me, go to the gym and strengthen my muscles, I am still enough. I am valuable as a human being. I matter. And I don't need to do anything else to be enough. I just am enough because I'm here. If you can insert your own thing there, whether it's your hair, whether it's your body, whether it's your nails, whether it's your earlobes, whether it's whatever, that is already enough. You are already enough. And I hope that the next time you see you are enough on a keychain or a t-shirt, it sinks in differently and means something to you.
100%, 100%. That was beautiful. Thank you
Thanks.
so much, Avi, for meeting with me, connecting with me today, and for having this communication because the work that you're doing, it's extremely important. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are getting judged upon how they look, how they behave, how they act. And the work that you are doing is bringing a lot of positive change. And it's not bringing it individually, it's bringing it in a community aspect, which I feel like is also something that's lacking in our society these days. So thank you so much for all the work you're doing.
Thank you. And back at you. You're doing incredible work. And I'm so happy to know that you're out there as a resource and just making such an incredible impact on every single person that you touch. So thank you again for having me. And thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you. And let's stay connected. And hopefully, once in a few months or in a year or something, we can do a part two around it and cover up more of your journey and more of the work that you and Clarity Fitness is doing.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you, Z.
Thank you, Abby. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.